Hey, sports card fans, it's John, Wade Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. This is my monthly look at the top 10 PSA vintage baseball card sales on eBay for cards from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s for the month of December 2024. Now, for the 1950s, there's a new record high sale for a Hank Aaron card. For the 1960s, there's a pretty good variety of cards that made the top 10 list, including a record high sale for a Roberto Clemente card. And for the 1970s, there are 4 record high sales that made the top 10 list. So let's go check them out. Starting off with the cards from the 1950s. At number 10, we have this 1952 Topps Willie Mays in a PSA 4. This one sold on December 12th for $5,500. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for a PSA 4 is $6,266. The record high sale, though, was $20,400 back in August of 2021 through REA. Now, there was one other significant 1952 Topps Willie Mays sale in December. This one, a PSA 3.5 copy, sold on December 9th for $4,903. At number 9, we have this 1952 Bowman Mickey Mantle in a PSA 6. This one sold on December 21st for $5,700. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for a PSA 6 is $6,853. The record high sale was $10,500 back in October of 2024 through Fanatics. Now, there were 2 other significant 1952 Bowman Mickey Mantle sales in December. One was a PSA 5 copy that sold on December 8th for $5,600. And then a PSA 4.5 copy sold on December 16th for $5,445. At number 8, we have this 1954 Topps Jackie Robinson in a PSA 8. This one sold on December 22nd for $6,000. It was an auction. There were 5 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 8 is $6,288. The record high sale was $11,011 back in May of 2023 through Memory Lane. Now, there have been 173 copies graded a PSA 8. Only 23 have been graded a PSA 9, and there have been no PSA 10s. At number 7, we have this 1953 Topps Mickey Mantle in a PSA 4.5. This one sold on December 15th for $8,550. It was a buy it now. The current VCP average price for a PSA 4.5 is $6,255. The record high sale was $8,700 back in March of 2024 through PWCC. Now, there were 3 other significant 1953 Topps Mickey Mantle sales in December. One was a PSA 4.5 copy that sold on December 16th for $5,511. A PSA 4 copy sold on December 10th for $5,333. And finally, another PSA 4 copy sold on December 5th for $4,949. At number 6, we have this 1952 Topps Jackie Robinson in a PSA 3. This one sold on December 8th for $8,612. It was an auction. There were 39 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 3 is $8,762. The record high sale was $22,140 back in June of 2021 through Golden. At number 5, we have this 1955 Topps Hank Aaron in a PSA 8. This one sold on December 1st for $8,765. There's an auction. There were 87 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 8 is $6,086, but this sale here at $8,765 represents a new record high sale for a PSA 8 copy. The previous high was $8,200 back in March of 2021 through a PWCC listing on eBay. At number 4, we have this 1954 Topps Hank Aaron in a PSA 6.5. This one sold on December 2nd for $10,500. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for a PSA 6.5 is $10,850. The record high sale was $21,000 back in March of 2021 through eBay. Now, there were 4 other significant 1954 Topps Hank Aaron rookie cards sold in December. One was a PSA 5.5 copy that sold on December 8th for $7,000. A PSA 5 copy sold on December 10th for $5,201. Another PSA 5 sold on December 1st for $5,111. And finally, a third PSA 5 copy sold on December 11th for $5,000. At number 3, we have this 1951 Bowman Willie Mays in a PSA 5. This one sold on December 21st for $14,000. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for a PSA 5 is $13,020. But the record high sale was $32,100 back in March of 2021 through eBay. Now, there were 2 other significant 1951 Bowman Willie Mays sales in December. One was a PSA 5 miscut that sold on December 18th for $8,000, and then a PSA 3 copy sold on December 15th for $7,000. At number 2, we have this 1955 Topps Roberto Clemente rookie card in a PSA 7. This one sold on December 27th for $15,000. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for a PSA 7 is $14,956. But the record high sale was $31,070 back in May of 2016 through Heritage. Now, there were 2 other significant 1955 Topps Roberto Clemente rookie card sales in December. One was a PSA 6 copy that sold on December 3rd for $6,255. And finally, another PSA 6 copy sold on December 7th for $5,503. And at number 1, we have this 1951 Bowman Mickey Mantle rookie card in a PSA 3. This one sold on December 17th for $15,301. It was an auction. There were 24 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 3 is $13,007. The record high sale, though, was $74,000 back in February of 2021 through a PWCC listing on eBay. Now, there were 2 other significant 1951 Bowman Mickey Mantle rookie card sales in December. One was a PSA 3 miscut sold on December 1st for $10,099, and then a PSA 2 copy sold on December 22nd for $9,995. Now for the top 10 cards from the 1960s. At number 10, we have this 1963 Topps Pete Rose rookie card in a PSA 7. This one sold on December 15th for $4,295. It was an auction. There was 1 bid. The current VCP average price for a PSA 7 is $4,003. The record high was $8,500 back in July of 2021 and November of 2021, both eBay listings, the first one a PWCC listing on eBay. Now, there were 3 other significant Pete Rose rookie card sales in December, all 3 PSA 7 copies. One sold on December 8th for $4,250. Another copy sold on December 12th for $4,000. And finally, another copy sold on December 8th for $3,899. At number 9, we have this 1968 Topps Johnny Bench rookie card in a PSA 9. This one sold on December 8th for $4,905. It was an auction. There were 38 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 9 is $4,914. The record high sale was $11,500 back in March of 2021 through eBay. There have been 216 copies graded a PSA 9. Only 17 have been graded a PSA 10. At number 8, we have this 1965 Topps Mickey Mantle in a PSA 8. This one sold on December 9th for $4,950. It was a buy it now. The current VCP average price for a PSA 8 is $4,365. The record high sale was $9,900 back in March of 2022 through REA. At number 7, we have this 1961 Topps Mickey Mantle in a PSA 8. This one sold on December 11th for $5,000. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for a PSA 8 is $4,434. The record high sale was $10,025 back in December of 2022 through SCP Auctions. Now, there was one other significant 1961 Topps Mickey Mantle sale in December. This one, another PSA 8 copy, sold on December 10th for $4,500. At number 6, we have this 1966 Topps Pete Rose in a PSA 9. This one sold on December 29th for $5,100. It was an auction. There were 43 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 9 is $5,070. The record high sale was $6,500 back in November of 2021 through eBay. There have been 69 copies graded a PSA 9. There have not been any PSA 10s. At number 6, we have this 1965 Topps Willie Mays in a PSA 9. This one sold on December 15th for $6,227. It was an auction. There were 31 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 9 is $8,666. The record high sale was $10,004 back in August of 2024 through Golden. There have been 71 copies graded a PSA 9. Only 2 have been graded a PSA 10. At number 4, we have this 1964 Topps Hank Aaron in a PSA 9. This one sold on December 15th for $6,300. It was an auction. There were 34 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 9 is $5,672. The record high sale was $7,576 back in January of 2023 through Memory Lane. Now, there have been 88 copies graded a PSA 9. Only 8 have been graded a PSA 10. At number 3, we have this 1968 Topps Nolan Ryan rookie card in a PSA 8. This one sold on December 8th for $8,609. It was an auction. There were 25 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 8 is $8,409. The record high sale was $11,400 back in December of 2021 through REA. Now, there were two other significant 68 Topps Nolan Ryan rookie card sales in December. One was a PSA 7.5 that sold on December 29th for $5,000, and then a PSA 7 copy sold on December 21st for $4,000. At number 2, we have this 1960 Topps Mickey Mantle in a PSA 8. This one sold on December 1st for $9,058. It was an auction. There were 75 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 8 is $7,027. The record high sale was $12,000 back in February of 2024 through Heritage. And at number 1 for the 1960s, this 1964 Topps Giants Roberto Clemente in a PSA 10. This one sold on December 22nd for $9,655. It was an auction. There were 32 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 10 is this sale at $9,655, and it represents a new record high sale for a PSA 10 copy. The previous high was $8,963 back in August of 2016 through Heritage. Now, there have been 132 copies graded a PSA 9. This copy here is one of only 5 that have been graded a PSA 10. All right, on to the top 10 cards from the 1970s. At number 10, we have this 1970 Topps Clyde Wright in a PSA 10. This one sold on December 16th for $3,080. It was an auction. There was only one bidder. The current VCP average price for a PSA 10 is this sale at $3,080 and represents a new record high sale for a PSA 10 copy. The previous high was only $478 all the way back in November of 2014 through Heritage. Now, there have only been 24 copies graded a PSA 9, but this PSA 10 copy is one of only 2 that have received a PSA 10 grade. At number 9, we have this 1972 Puerto Rican Mike Schmidt League sticker in a PSA 7. This one sold on December 10th for $3,301. It was an auction. There were 45 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 7 is this sale at $3,301 and represents a new record high sale for a PSA 7 copy. The previous high was $1,325 back in June of 2022 through eBay. At number 8, we have this 1970 Kellogg's Roberto Clemente in a PSA 10. This one sold on December 27th for $3,484. It was an auction. There were 22 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 10 is this sale at $3,484 and represents a new record high sale for a PSA 10 copy. The previous high was $1,886 back in December of 2021 through memory lane. Now, there have been 288 copies graded a PSA 9. This one here is one of only 36 that have been graded a PSA 10. At number 7, we have this 1977 Topps Andre Dawson rookie card in a PSA 10. This one sold on December 8th for $3,827. It was an auction. There was 29 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 10 is $4,356. The record high sale, though, was $10,200 back in December of 2023 through PWCC. There have been 594 copies graded a PSA 9. Only 59 have been graded a PSA 10. However, there was one other 1977 Topps Andre Dawson rookie card sale in December of note, and it was another PSA 10 copy. This one sold on December 8th for $3,383. At number 6, we have this 1971 Ted Simmons rookie card in a PSA 9. This one sold on December 3rd for $4,188. It was an auction. There were 34 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 9 is $4,134. The record high sale was $9,938 back in December of 2022 through Mile High. Now, there have only been 22 copies graded a PSA 9. There's only been one that has been graded a PSA 10. At number 5, we have this 1970 Topps Reggie Jackson in a PSA 9. This one sold on December 8th for $4,800. It was an auction. There were 50 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 9 is $4,920. The record high sale was $12,998 back in May of 2023 through Memory Lane. Now, this copy here is one of 68 that have been graded a PSA 9. There's only been one graded a PSA 10. At number 4, we have this 1970 Hank Aaron in a PSA 9. This one sold on December 17th for $4,851. It was a buy it now. The current VCP average price for PSA 9 is $4,208. The record high sale was $5,800 back in February of 2024 through eBay. This PSA 9 copy here is one of 87 that have received that grade. There have only been 6 that have been graded a PSA 10. At number 3, we have this 1971 Topps Thurman Munson in a PSA 8. This one sold on December 8th for $6,055. It was an auction. There were 67 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 8 is $5,617. The record high sale was $7,000 back in May of 2024 through eBay. There have been 129 copies graded a PSA 8. Only 5 have been graded a PSA 9, and there have not been any graded a PSA 10. At number 2, we have this 1977 Topps Reggie Jackson in a PSA 10. This one sold on December 10th for $7,869. It was an auction. There were 49 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 10 is $9,314, but the record high sale was $15,000 back in May of 2021 through Heritage. There have been 213 copies graded a PSA 9. This copy here is one of only 17 that have been graded a PSA 10. And finally, at number 1 for the 1970s, this 1976 Topps George Brett in a PSA 9. This one sold on December 12th for $11,500. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for a PSA 9 is $10,522. But this sale here at $11,500 represents a new record high sale for a PSA 9 copy. The previous high was $10,200 in December of 2024 through Heritage. Now, there have only been 33 copies graded a PSA 9. None have been graded a PSA 10. Well, there you go, the top 10 PSA vintage baseball card sales on eBay for cards from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s for December 2024. As always, would love to know in the comments what you think about the cards that made the top 10 lists. And with that, that's all I have for you. So until next time, thanks for watching.